Hi everyone, my name is Javanda Gomez and I'm going to go through the steps in subnetting a network using Packet Tracer. As you can see here, we have a diagram. This diagram shows the network that we will be building. But first, let's subnet this network. Now from the diagram, you can see that we have 3 networks, each with 20 hosts. However, network 2, we are only utilizing 2 hosts, but we will still assign 20 hosts. We will also not be using subnet 0. So here you can see that I did all the working for subnetting the network. So let's go through it. We were given the network 192.168.1.0/24. Our new network is 192.168.1.0/27. And here you can see the calculations for finding the magic number. Since we borrowed 3 bits, our magic number is 32. Now let's look at our networks. Remember, we will not be using the subnet 0, so this is where our first network will start. Our network 1 is 192.168.1.32 to 192.168.1.63. Our network 2 is 192.168.1.64 to 192.168.1.95. And our network 3 is 192.168.1.96 to 192.168.1.128. And our subnet mask is here, which is 225.225.225.224. Now let's move on to our PCs and routers. So we're looking at PC1 here. And let's look at the diagram to see where PC1 is located. PC1 is located on network 1. And as we said, our network 1 network address is 192.168.1.32. A broadcast address 192.168.1.63. So then we would assign a default gateway. So 192.168.1.33, and our IP address will be 192.168.1.34. And we're going to do the same process for PC2. PC2 is located on network 3, as you can see here. So our network address for PC2 would be 192.168.1.96, and our default gateway will be 192.168.1.128. We will assign the default gateway 192.168.1.97 and our IP address, 192.168.1.98. Now let's move on to our routers. And in the diagram, our routers are located in network 2. So IP address for router 1 would be 192.168.1.65 and router 2 192.168.1.66. Now let's move on to Packet Tracer. Okay, so we are now into our Cisco Packet Tracer, and I would have already set up our PC, our switches, and our routers. And I also put the information that we would have established before in our Word documents, which is the IP addresses and so forth. So let's get started. Now we are going to connect our devices. So we're going to use the copper straight through cable to connect PC1 to switch 1. So click on it, click Fast Ethernet, then Fast Ethernet 0/1. We're going to basically do the same thing for the switch to connect the switch to the router. Fast Ethernet 1/0/1 to Fast Ethernet 0/0. Let's do the same thing on the other side. PC2 and switch 2. Fast Ethernet 0/1. We're going back with the same wire. Fast Ethernet 1/1 to Fast Ethernet 0/0. Now to connect our routers, we're going to use the serial DCE via the serial 2/0 to the serial 2/0. Now it's time to configure the devices. So first we're going to click on our PC1. We're going to go into desktop, IP configuration, and we're basically just going to take this information and put it into here. So the IP is 192.168.1.34. Subnet mask 224. And our default gateway 192.168.1.33. Let's come out of here now and do the same thing for PC2. Desktop, IP config, and this is the information that we're going to be putting into there. 192.168.1.98. 224. 192.168.1.97. I'm going to come out of there. Now let's configure our routers, but this time we are configuring the routers using the command line interface. So we're going to first click on our router. We're going to go into CLI to get into the command line interface, and then we're going to simply type no, then click enter again. We're going to want to go into our privilege exec mode, and to do that we simply type en, and then we want to get into our global config, which is conft. Let's set a host name for our router. To do that we type in host name, and we're going to name it R1. Click enter. Now you can see that it was renamed to R1. Let's now set our IP address for the fast Ethernet ports. To do that, we put int f0/0 an IP address. We're going to set the IP address. Now basically what we're doing here is setting a connection between our PC1 to our router 1. So we're going to put in the default gateway here for our PC1, and that is 192.168.1.33, and we're also going to put our subnet mask. Once that is correct, we then click enter, and then we're going to type no shut, which basically means no shutdown, then exit. Let's now set up our serial ports. To do that we type int s2/0. We're going to put in the IP address now for our router. So our router's IP address is 65. So we type IP address 192.168.1.65. We're also going to put the subnet mask. Once that is correct, we type enter, and we would want to now set up our clock rate. So to do that, we type clock rate 64. We're going to set it to 64,000 and click. Then we're going to say no shut, which is no shutdown. Click enter. We're going to exit out of this mode. Exit out of this mode also, and then we're going to type copy and start to save. Now let's see if our so our PC1 is now connected to our router 1. So we're going to do the same thing on this side. So our PC2 will be connected to router 2. So let's come out of this. and we're going to go into router 2, sorry. So we're basically doing the same exact thing. So we're going to type in here no, click again, privilege exec mode is en, and then global config is conft. We're going to give the router name, host name, and because we named our router 1 R1, let's name router 2 R2. We're going to set up our fast Ethernet, which is int f0-0, and then put the IP address for our default gateway for our PC2. So type in IP address 192.168.1.97. We're also going to put our subnet mask. Once this is correct, this looks correct, we type enter, no shut for no shutdown. Then we're going to type exits, and we're going to set up the serial ports. To that, you type int s2/0, and then put the IP address 192. This will be the IP address for your router, 192.168.1.66. Let's make sure, yes, router 2 is 66, and then 255.255.255.224. Let's make sure that is correct. Then type enter, and then enter. Now we don't have to set up clock rate because we would have already done that previously. So we're going to type in here no shut for no shutdown. Exits, into this mode, exits again. And then copy, run, start. And let's see if the connection has been made. Yes. So we could see that PC2 is now connected to router 2. Now we're not done yet. We still haven't established a connection between PC1 and PC2. So in order to do that, we need to set up a route. So let's work on that. So we're going to go back into our router 1. Click enter. Now we're already in privilege exec mode. So let's go back into our global configuration mode, which is conft. So let's establish a connection between our router 1 to our PC2. So what we're going to do is we're going to type IP route, route, and we're going to put 192.168.1.96, the default gateway. And we're going to put the router's IP address, which is 192.168.1.66. Let's double check that we have the right thing here. Okay, looks good. Let's click enter. No shut for no shutdown. Exit, and and then we're going to do copy, run, save, copy, run, start, sorry. So let's now do the same exact thing to router 2. So we're clicking on router 2, going back into command line, going to global config, and then IP route 192.168.255.255.255.224, and the router 192.168.1.65. Let's make sure that's correct. Okay, click enter. I'm going to click exit. And then copy, run, start to save. Okay, so that's basically it. So let's exit off of this. Great. Now let's see if all of our configurations work. So to do that, we're going to basically send a message to see if from PC1 to PC2 to see if they can communicate. So in order to do that, what we're going to do is to click on PC1. We're going to click on command prompt, and we're going to ping PC2. So to ping PC2, we're going to type in the PC2 IP's IP address. Click enter. Let's try to do it again. Ping. Right. So you see it worked. We were able to ping PC2 from PC1. So let's see if we are able to ping PC1 from PC2. I'm going to go into PC2, go into the command prompt, ping, and let's put in the IP address for PC1. 192.168.1.34. Right, so we were able to also ping PC1 from PC2. Okay, so now we're going to go back into router 1, and we're going to type in show IP routes, just to make sure that we would have established a connection between the two PCs. And as you can see here, we successfully did. So that is the end of our video, and thank you so much for watching.